everybody? You listening to For the Record. What's up, everybody? You listening to For the Record with your host, NugzB.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? You listening to For the Record with your host, NugzB. Got a special guest in the building, Rodrigo. How you doing today, bro?
Doing good, doing good.
That's what I love to hear, man. We on episode 3 now, For the Record. The view's been pretty decent, you know. People really feeling it, so that's definitely a plus. It's going to keep us going for sure. We'll be running a poll after this one because the last one we did, we ran a poll, and Rodrigo ended up winning. So we're going to do the same thing next time. If you guys have anybody you think you want to be on the show, just let us know, and we'll put them in the poll. You know, it's no big deal at all. But we'll go ahead and start this off with Rodrigo telling us his origins with music and telling us a little bit about himself and how he got started, you know, things like that. So we'll go ahead and start it off with that.
Okay. Well, basically I started out as a little kid running through the house singing. My mom heard me and she's like, "Oh no, you're going to sing for everybody." So every time I turn around, she's throwing me in front of my family, throwing me in front of friends, throwing me in Christmas plays, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
I had no choice.
That was awesome.
I wanted to be the shy kid. But no, it wasn't happening.
Yeah. Right on, man. That is awesome. So when was the first time you recorded music?
Recorded music.
Either a tape player, you know, any type of thing, you know, because I was saying, because you had tape players back then or whatever.
Yeah,
it was all analog.
My mom had one.
Yeah, there was no digital, you know.
She had hundreds of cassette tapes of me singing this song, that song, you know.
That's
me
awesome.
and my buddy Bobby Nelson, him playing guitar and me singing, you know, had all that.
That is awesome, man. So 10 years old was the first time you ever recorded something?
Probably younger than that, but
that is awesome.
10's about the first I can really remember.
Hell yeah, that is sweet, man. So when was the first time you professionally recorded, like, you know, something that actually sounded real good?
The actual professional recording first time was my first CD.
Nice.
A little bit of everything.
That was a Gary Kessling, correct?
Yep.
That is awesome. That is awesome, man. And what year was that?
It's been 3 years.
3 years.
Actually.
Wow. What was the release date on that one? Was it in the summer?
No, it was right after Thanksgiving of 2015.
Really?
Yeah, it's been 2 years since it's actually, 2 years actual release.
That is awesome, man.
But it was worked on for a good year before we actually...
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I've asked everybody so far, I'm going to ask you the same thing. How did you meet everybody on the label?
Well, you, for example, I was sitting at Ruby Tuesdays doing my Beer 30 thing because I worked at Applebee's and I drank at Ruby Tuesdays. You come running around with some T-shirts. I look at one of them shirts, and it was the very first GVNG shirt.
That was the second round.
The second round?
Second round, yep. You bought the first one of the second round.
Yeah.
Because that was the speakers, right?
Yeah, the speakers.
That was the second round of shirts.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We actually did the alien one first. It was just the alien head that I created with GVNG on top of the head, blue eyes and gray.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first round of shirts we did, but you were the first person. And I feel like we talked before that.
Well, we probably had.
You know, here and there, you know, hey, what's up? You know, something little like that. But that was when we really
music.
like,
I say, well, I sing, I write songs.
Yeah.
You know.
That was like the first time we actually really, you know, talked about music and really interacted and engaged on something that, you know, turned into you signing to the label and, you know, stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, but most everybody else I've met from this studio, you know, right here.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Daniels, he's not an artist, but he's working with us. Now, I've known him forever.
Yeah. For
20 years from out back here at the old Country Music Highway Cafe that used to be on 16th Street.
Yeah. What about everybody else? Did you know anybody before you came to the label that's on the label? You know nobody?
No.
Well, Will Hale.
Mikey.
Yeah.
I met Mikey at work at Ruby Tuesdays when he was working there, Mikey Childers.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm the one that convinced him to come down and sign himself. You know, and he did.
Yeah. What about I want to say Will Hale. You all in relation to marriage?
Well, actually, yeah, but I never really met Will.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I grew up with his dad and his uncles, or great uncles and all that. You know.
And you all related?
Yeah, kind of, sort of deal.
Mm-hmm.
On my mom's side of the family, his Uncle Chuck
Yeah.
is a cousin.
Oh, really?
And then I guess he got adopted into the Mocs.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Right on. Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. Next question I'm going to go to is, well, let's see here. Probably going to go ahead and ask you what you think as of right now about country music. What do you really think? Is there any artists right now that you're thinking of that really are turning the tide of the pop wave that hit in the early 2000s for country music?
well, one of my favorites right now, and it's because he's keeping it real, is Mr. Chris Stapleton.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. I knew you were going to say that because that guy is the real deal.
It's going to be a shock to you.
Yeah.
And a matter of fact, in about 8 hours, his CD's coming out.
And who's that?
And I'm going to be right on top of it. He's a Greenup County boy.
Really?
By the name of Kyle Fields.
Kyle Fields. I don't think I've ever heard of him.
My daughters went to school with him.
Really?
And yeah, he won a contest back about 2010, something like that. Went down to Nashville, recorded a CD and everything, and then he ended up living down there
He's from
for
Greenup?
a few years.
That's awesome, man.
I mean, yeah, he has that country sound. I mean, he has it.
That is awesome.
And
So you think those two guys right now are really holding it down for country?
they're going? I mean, he's going to be the one that's going to come up,
Okay.
in my opinion.
I said Chris Stapleton, he's
And
already
Chris
there.
Stapleton's there.
Yeah, he's
I
already-
mean, there's quite a few of them. I've heard a lot of them. Though, what get me is they have this sound like somebody else kind of deal,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I don't want to sound like anybody but me.
Absolutely.
You know, there might be some songs that I sing on some covers that I may sound sort of like.
More for
a certain
homage, you know.
person.
It's more for homage. It's more of like, you're just trying to, show some love to that artist and appreciation. You know, you're not really trying to, like, mimic their style, but, since you're doing a cover, you need to show some love to that artist. I definitely agree with that. So let me ask you this. I know you don't listen to rap that much, but is there any new rappers that you like? Any? From 2000 to 2015.
Well, Sick ain't doing too bad.
SYK, baby, shout out.
You and the big
What's up,
general
Joe?
ain't doing too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all,
Shout out to me and
y'all
Rob, that's what's up.
Is rapping about real stuff.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, stuff like that I can dig. I mean, and I can understand the lyrics.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the problem with they're either going so fast.
Yeah.
Or
they're being so slurred, this sounds like they're drinking or something, or, they're on drugs or, something like that along those lines.
I mean, that brings to another thing, because some people talk too fast. Sometimes I can't understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
And we went on episode 1, the
Yeah.
very end of episode 1, you and Dustin, Mr. Dusty Do-Right, are talking about, we're talking about me, and you brought up a comment that I was deaf-mute. Right before this broadcast, people, I give him the definition. I Googled it.
I said it wrong. I said deaf mute. I meant to say tone deaf.
Yeah.
So, that was definitely misconstrued in what we were talking about.
I had never realized that I was tone deaf until a blind man had told me. He used to come into the cafe all the time, the Country Music Highway Cafe. His name is Ray Sievers. He was a very talented musician.
Yeah.
Very talented keyboard player. He played keyboards. He played piano for the church down there that has the bells and everything every hour and all that. The Lutheran church.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember what it's called. It's right here on the block.
Kitchen.
Yeah, it's right here.
Right down there on 14.
Yeah. Okay.
And I mean, he is played in big jazz bands.
Really?
And
wow,
big orchestra deals. He was a piano player and all that. Very good musician. And he was listening to me perform, and he's like, "I'm going to tell you something, and you're probably not going to believe me." But he said, "You're tone deaf." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You're tone deaf." So there's certain chords when you'll be playing a D, but you're actually just either a tad up or a tad down.
Really?
And I'm like, So I would listen. I mean, and then there was certain songs that I would play, and I was like, he's right. That's not the chord I need to be in. I got to change the chord. I got to find that chord.
Yeah.
That's how I learned a lot of new chords, playing guitar, figuring out that,
That's awesome, man. Another thing I want to talk about is what was your favorite performance of this year that you did?
Favorite performance of this year? Probably Dalton Fest.
When you had the most fun?
That was definitely my favorite performance.
You're talking about at the release party or at actual Dalton Fest?
Huh?
At actual Dalton Fest?
Dalton Fest
okay, yeah.
itself. I mean, now, the release party was fun. I had a blast there. I mean, because once I busted out and brought the band in, and we just, I pulled the guitar off and become Mr. Frontman again.
Yes.
I loved it.
And see,
they were my favorite times. Being frontman. I'd rather be a frontman than sit around with the guitar any day of the week.
Yeah.
But I still love playing my guitar.
Absolutely, and it's actually back to the release party about that. That's probably one of my favorite performances I've done too. I mean, I had some drinks. I was a little inebriated, but it was a good time. It was a good vibe.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a million people there, but the people who were there, was good people.
There,
so
what counted.
It was a lot of fun, and everybody reacted real well. The crowd was alive. It was a lot of fun, man. Shout out to Larry Dalton, by the way, real good guy that we know. But yeah, man, that was definitely one of my favorite performances. Definitely top 3 of the year.
Yeah.
And I did more shows this year than I ever have. I don't know. My second favorite was probably at the park. Man, I had a lot of fun at the park. That was the donation show we did back in July.
Yeah, the end of
was
July.
It July?
Yeah, the end of July.
Yeah, the end of July we did that, and we got a lot of donations that we ended up donating to CARES. If you're not from Kentucky or not from around this area, you probably don't know what that is, but it's pretty much like a Red Cross type deal. People who lost their houses to fires, or people who were unfortunate, less fortunate than the rest of us, or other people,
homeless,
everything. They take care of everybody.
They got a whole building with nothing but. I mean, you can get your
clothes,
haircut.
books. I mean, everything.
Clothes, everything.
Toys. All that stuff.
Community kitchen in there.
Yeah, so we donated to them, and they took all of our stuff, and that was a great donation.
This area is very fortunate to have something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of areas don't.
Absolutely.
And if they do, they're all spread out. And with this, in the case of the neighborhood, is what they call the building.
Yeah.
It has everything right there.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
And see, another thing I was going to touch on, actually, it's not really music related, but I just want to go ahead and give, send some good energy to all the families that have been, going through these shootings in Huntington.
Oh, yeah.
I know you've seen that. That's been horrible, man. It's been, I think 2 homicides and 2 or 3 other shootings. Don't quote me on that. Yeah. But it's been a lot of shootings in Huntington, West Virginia.
3? There was one.
There's been a bunch in the last couple days,
Or 3 in 1 hour or something like that I seen on the Book of Face. And,
I just really, I just want to send some good energy and some good vibes to all their families. I'm really sorry for them. I couldn't imagine, losing, a friend and or kid or, anything, mother, father, sister, brother, all that, to a lot of nonsense that's going on in West Virginia right now. And I just want to send some good vibes to them. And, I'm really sorry to all their families. So, if you all can do anything to help Huntington, there's plenty of stuff that can be done with the right people making moves in West Virginia, to really bring something to the community besides what's going on right now. There's a lot of bad stuff going on. So I just wanted to say I'm really sorry to all those people that are experiencing a lot of grievance right now and stuff like that. Back to music though. Let's see here. Another thing I was going to talk about is in the barn right now. So
that's a good subject.
We're waiting on the results for all the download sales and stuff like that from our distributor. The streams are looking pretty good. We just checked them out. Let's see here. So what's today? December 14th?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Today's the 14th.
So another thing about In the Barn is it's on all platforms right now. You can go check it out on YouTube. I just now found that out. He had found it on YouTube as well. I guess our distributor puts it through there as well. I wasn't aware. So you can go to YouTube, you can go to Google Play, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, anything you can think of is on there for sure. iHeartRadio. So it's got everything on there. So we should know what we're looking at for numbers in the next, by the end of December, we'll know what we're really working with. For a fact, in the barn, we're going to see exactly what we're working with that. Everything's been going pretty well so far. It's an acoustic album with Rodrigo. The songwriters aren't listed on the CD, but there was other songwriters. Their names were...
3 different... On Good Girl Gone Bad, it was Kobe Goldie, Lloyd Thomas Martin, and myself.
Mm-hmm.
On 21st Birthday, it was John Goetz and myself. And on Still Be Strong, it was Adam Brown and myself. Other than that, I'm the sole owner of all the
other songs that were produced from the studio. Yeah, absolutely. We just wanted to, we definitely give them a shout out and give them all the props that they earned, help writing those songs. So what are we looking for the next album? What are we looking at right now?
I'm probably going to pull a couple of the songs from In the Barn and some other stuff that I've written, and going to get a band together and do the full band thing this time around. Okay. That way we can get the full band effect. Everybody, now with In the Barn, they know who I am and what I'm about. Mm-hmm. Those who haven't already know.
Yeah, now we can get fill-ins.
Now they're going to get to see
you as a frontman instead of just a guitarist and a singer. So we can get the full album, the band version of the album. So that'd be really good. When do you want to release that? What we shooting for? Maybe summertime, or what do you think?
Spring would be good.
Spring.
I mean,
if we can get everything together.
Once we start getting them in here and getting them recording, it shouldn't take us very long.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, probably.
Month or two.
It's going to take you a while, to mix and master all of that.
Yeah.
That'll probably take you more
process.
time than it will us.
Be the longest process will be the mixing and mastering
exactly,
of the full band.
That's what I'm saying.
So we're looking at we'll shoot for definitely springtime. We'll have that out. If not, it'll be summertime. We can get that done. So let me ask you another thing about what you're thinking right now. We're gonna step into some politics, which I haven't done on the show yet, but I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna start this one with some politics. So let me ask you first. Did you vote last year?
Yeah.
I did not. I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
I sure did. I made sure
crucify me now. I did not vote.
Sure and got out.
I'm a neutral. I'm a neutral candidate. I guess you could say. I'm neutral for either candidate. That's what I meant to say. Let me ask you this though: who did you vote for, if you don't mind me asking?
No problem. It wasn't Trump or Hillary, that's for sure. It was Gary Johnson.
Gary Johnson?
I went independent. I mean, because I've seen the stuff, going on with Hillary and Trump. Oh, my goodness. I mean, he's just been,
definitely a shit show,
it is
say the least.
Right now it is what it is. And everybody, that voted, everybody probably look at me and say, well, you're half the reason that Trump got elected. Well, I'm half the reason Hillary didn't too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And because I voted independent. Yeah. Because not very many people voted independent.
Yeah.
I was one of them, and if I feel the need to do that in 4 more years, and I'll do it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If there's a candidate out there that I feel is better off than the president we've got, then I'll be right there.
And in all honesty, since we're on the subject, the thing about it is, in my opinion, everybody thinks, all these people in America, they think that the president is like this big Don, like he's a big Don of the block, like he's like calling all the shots, and they don't realize that he doesn't have as much say as people think. The structure of our government is, it's not just one person. It's not a monarchy. We don't have a king. So he can try to get things to happen, but whether they happen or not depends on Congress and depends on other, other branches of government that have to pass things. And so a lot of people, they really get confused on things they don't know about, and that's not their fault. It's ignorance. It's not stupidity. Stupidity is where for the people who don't know the difference between stupidity and ignorance, stupidity is when you've been taught a million times, you just can't learn because you are stupid. Ignorance means you've never been taught. You're ill-informed. You don't know because you weren't aware. You're not informed correctly, or you've never been taught. Things like that. So I feel like it's more ignorance than it is stupidity. The next thing I'm going to talk about is, what do you think about the protests and the riots, and what's your take on that?
Well, I mean, of course, being here in the United States, we have that freedom to do such.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah. Whether it's going to do any good or not, no, probably not. But we have that right to do that. And I mean, if that's what they want to do, they can go out there and knock themselves out, as far as I'm concerned.
Understandable. Now, that's on the protest side. What about these riots? How do you think they should be handled? In your opinion, what do you think should happen?
The riots, I think, that's a little bit much, in my opinion. I'm not one for that. I mean, there's other ways you can solve this than going out and just doing a full riot. I mean,
absolutely. My take on it, I'm going to go ahead and say that, I feel like that's going to be the reason that the government inflicts martial law.
Yeah.
I feel like, you have all these people that are, causing a horrible, mayhem and, stuff like that. And I just feel like, it's just, it's really, I don't know, it's really dumb of them to do something like that, because when you have somebody doing all that, the government's going to look and be like, okay, well, now we can go ahead and inflict martial law and put, foot to ass pretty much, because these people they're not heeding our warnings and stuff like that. The next thing is, about the whole peaceful protesting, I'm all for. That is our right to peaceful protest. And if you are out here protesting, you are a godsend. You are the real deal. Keep doing what you're doing. I was actually just talking to one of my friends the other day, and I'm sure he'll watch this video. I'm not going to mention any names. But he and I were sitting there talking, hanging out at the house, and he had told me that there's a guy in D.C. right now, and it was like this big thing, that where people were protesting outside the White House and they shut it down. But they got grandfathered by don't quote me on this. I think it was the Supreme Court possibly. Either way, these people from the protesting, they got grandfathered in, and they were told they could stay there as long as they didn't leave. Period.
Right.
This was back in 2000 something. I can't remember exactly, but the dude is still there today in D.C., camped outside of the White House. The only dude left. Everybody else left, But I think that's really cool that he's still peaceful protesting. And he's, he's taking his right and he's really using it for good and not evil. Now, another thing I'm thinking of is, I feel like if you're destroying property and you are protesting and you're doing something that is causing harm to anybody else, I honestly feel like you should be maced, and I feel like you should be beaten. My opinion, I feel like, not a lot of people, they might frown upon this or think I'm being dark or whatever. I feel like public execution should be a real thing and should still happen today. That's my opinion. I feel like for, rapists and people who don't know how to act, and people that go out here and, they don't protest correctly and they're destroying, the moms and pop stores and they're going in there and looting and stealing. I feel like you should either be beaten in the street or maced, or, you should be publicly executed, in my opinion. Some people might disagree with that, and I understand. But that's just my opinion. Everybody's got one, and that's mine. I stand strong with it. I believe that truly. Is there any questions you want to ask me?
No, I can't really think of anything. I mean...
Okay. Well, that's all the time we got for today, guys. I really appreciate you tuning in. You're listening to For the Record with your host, NugzB and Ray Rodrigo. So definitely tune into the next show. We really appreciate you guys.
Check out that CD in the barn.
In the barn, guys. Spotify, Apple Music, everything, all the above. So definitely check that out, and we really appreciate you guys tuning in.